Welcome to Genius Brainbox.
Total 35 questions.
15 seconds for each question. For each correct answer, you will get 1 point. Are you ready? Let's start.
In which scenario will you see a clearer image of yourself in a plane mirror? A. When there is dim light in the room. B. When the mirror is held at an angle. C. When light falls directly on your face and then reflects onto the mirror. What is necessary for us to see an object? A. The object must be emitting light. B. Light rays must reflect off the object and reach our eyes. C. The object must be directly in sunlight. The experiment with the slit and 2 mirrors demonstrates what phenomenon? A. Refraction of light. B. Reflection of light. C. Absorption of light. What is the name given to the line drawn perpendicular to the surface of the mirror at the point of contact with the light ray? A. Reflected ray. B. Incident ray. C. Normal. Based on the text, why can you see all the objects in a room during the day, even if sunlight doesn't directly hit them? A. Your eyes emit light rays that illuminate the objects. B. Light reflects multiple times off walls and ceilings before reaching the objects. C. The objects are glowing faintly on their own. In Class 6, you saw how shadows are formed. What did you observe about the shadow's shape in relation to the position of the light source? A. It remained constant. B. It changed depending on the light source position. C. It depended on the object's color. The text mentions observing the reflection of sunlight. What is the scientific term for the path followed by the sunlight to illuminate the room? A. Reflection. B. Refraction. C. Transmission. According to the instructions for creating a ray of light, what should the width of the slit in the black paper be? A. As wide as possible. B. Exactly 1 millimeter wide. C. Any width will work. In the experiment with the mirror strip and slit, what material is used for the sheet placed on the ground? A. A mirror. B. A sheet of glass. C. A white sheet of paper. The text describes an incident ray striking a mirror. What is the scientific term for the angle formed between the incident ray and the imaginary line perpendicular to the mirror's surface at the point of contact? A. Angle of reflection. B. Angle of incidence. C. Right angle. Based on the laws of reflection, what is the relationship between the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection? A. The angle of incidence is always smaller. B. The angle of reflection is always larger. C. They are always equal.
Imagine a ray of light entering a pond at an angle. What phenomenon will cause the light to bend as it enters the water? Reflection. B. Refraction. C. Diffraction. When light reflects off a smooth surface, what can you say about the reflected ray? It bends slightly. B. It follows the same path as the incident ray. C. It travels in a completely different direction. According to the passage, why is it possible to see your friend sitting in the middle of a brightly lit room? Because your friend emits light. B. Due to multiple reflections of sunlight from the room's surfaces. C. Because sunlight shines directly on your friend. The text mentions different experiments using mirrors. What is the scientific category for these experiments that explore light and its properties? A. Chemistry. B. Physics. C. Biology. The text mentions that the incident and reflected rays lie on opposite sides of the normal. Can you also state the relationship between the incident and reflected rays themselves? A. They are always parallel. B. They always travel in opposite directions. C. They always make the same angle with the normal. The laws of reflection state that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. If the angle of incidence is increased by 10 degrees, what happens to the angle of reflection? A. It decreases by 10 degrees. B. It increases by 10 degrees. C. It remains the same. Imagine you are designing a room with minimal light sources. How could you strategically place mirrors to maximize the use of natural light entering through a single window? A. Place mirrors opposite the window. B. Place mirrors at random angles throughout the room. C. Place mirrors parallel to the window. Based on the passage, why can we see the shapes of shadows? A. Because shadows emit their own light. B. Because they block light from reaching our eyes. C. Because the object casts a colored light on the surrounding area. In the experiment using the mirror strip with a slit, what would happen if the slit width were increased significantly? A. The resulting light beam would be brighter. B. The light beam would become more diffuse and spread out. C. The light beam wouldn't change its properties. The text mentions multiple reflections of sunlight. What is the main consequence of these multiple reflections? A. The sunlight loses energy and becomes dimmer. B. The room becomes brightly lit even without direct sunlight. C. The color of the sunlight changes. When light reflects off a rough surface, what can you generally expect about the reflected ray compared to a smooth surface? A. It will be more focused and brighter. B. It will be scattered in many directions. There will be no reflection at all. The passage describes observing the reflection of light. What property of light allows it to reflect off a surface? A. Light can bend, like when it enters water. B. Light can travel through empty space. C. Light can bounce back when it hits a surface. According to the text, what is the role of the black paper with a slit in the experiment creating a ray of light? A. To completely block all light except for a thin beam. B. To focus the sunlight into a narrower beam. C. To measure the intensity of the sunlight. Imagine a diver looking up from underwater towards the water surface. What phenomenon might cause the diver to see the sun in a slightly different location? A. Reflection. B. Refraction. C. Diffraction. The text mentions observing shadows of objects. What can you generally say about the relative size of a shadow compared to the object causing it? A. The shadow is always smaller than the object. B. The shadow is always larger than the object. C. The shadow size depends on the distance between the object and the light source. In the experiment with the mirror strip and paper, what would happen if you replaced the white paper with a mirror? A. You would see two overlapping rays of light. B. You wouldn't see any light on the paper. C. You would see a brighter and more defined ray of light. The text describes the concept of a normal line drawn to a mirror surface. What is the main purpose of the normal line? To show the direction of the reflected ray. B. To create a right angle with the incident ray. C. To measure the distance between the mirror and the light source. According to the passage, why is it important to control the amount of light in the experiment creating a ray of light? A. Too much light can damage the mirror strip. B. A narrow beam helps to observe reflection more clearly. C. It ensures the light source isn't too bright for your eyes. When light reflects off a curved mirror, what can happen to the reflected light compared to a flat mirror? A. It will always be more focused. B. It may be focused, diffused, or even scattered depending on the curves. C. There will be no reflection at all. The text mentions that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. If the mirror is slightly tilted, what happens to the reflected ray relative to the incident ray? A. The reflected ray stays parallel to the incident ray.
B. The reflected ray tilts by the same angle as the mirror. C. The reflected ray doesn't change its direction. Imagine you shine a flashlight on a flat mirror in a dark room. What determines the brightness of the light reflected back at you? A. The distance between you and the mirror. B. The angle at which you hold the flashlight. C. The color of the flashlight beam. Imagine you want to create a signal mirror for emergencies. What shape would be most effective for reflecting light over long distances, and why? A. A flat square mirror. B. A curved mirror shaped like a bowl. C. A triangular mirror with reflective sides. The text discusses reflection of light. Can you think of any everyday applications where you might use the concept of reflection besides mirrors? A. Using telescopes to observe distant objects. B. Designing traffic signs to be highly visible at night. C. Both A and B. The experiment uses a black paper slit to create a ray of light. What other material could potentially be used instead of black paper? A. A colored transparent sheet. Voici B. A thin metal sheet with a hole. Sasi. A thick piece of cardboard with a narrow slit.
Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.